really pretty out here. My first mountain biking since I've been here. True mountain biking, that is. Granite Mountain up there. Must be Pioneer Parkway over there, the road. And some nice flowy single track here. There's been some more technical stuff. Anyway, I'll see if I can put this in my mouth and get a little feel for this. I am in Prescott, Arizona, on a mountain bike. Those of you that follow this channel know that I am not a mountain biker. I am a road biker. I suck on the mountain bike. I don't know why I attempted to do this, but I thought it might be fun. I thought it would be an adventure, and in fact, it was an adventure. So, this is a 56-mile loop around the city of Prescott, Arizona on these mountain bike trails. And this was actually one of the easiest trails and one of the most fun trails I'm filming right now. When I say fun, meaning non-technical, because like I said, I suck on the mountain bike and I don't do well through rock gardens and things like that. I just don't function. So, 56 miles. Almost 6,000 feet of climbing, 5,885 feet of climbing. The Strava estimate on the route builder was this would take me 2 hours and 51 minutes. Now maybe if I was Chloe Woodruff, it'd take me that or less. But I did not even come close to that. I posted up a map here that shows you what the route looks like. And now, in just a second here, I'll post up a map that is the route that I actually did. So I actually had to call it quits before I could finish the route. So I was on the bike 6 hours and 10 minutes moving and accomplished 43.5 miles of the total 56. And I guess I ended up doing 3,625 feet of climbing. One of the issues here was I started too late. The day, the temperatures were hot. I ran out of liquids. The average temperature for the ride was 94 degrees Fahrenheit. The maximum temperature on the ride was 106 degrees Fahrenheit. It is super dry. It is super hot. I had one bottle on my bike and I had my Camelback, which is 3 liters. That's all I had. So once I ran out of liquid, it was kind of over for me. Plus, I was just toasted by then. I was just tired. So there were a lot of areas here that I had to just get off my bike and walk through it, the walk of shame. Just a little bit too technical for me. When I was going downhill, I was slow as bananas. Is that a word? That's not a phrase, slow as bananas. I was slow as Christmas. I was slow as molasses. I am not good on the bike and I really didn't want to crash. Part of the reason was I was on one of my quote-unquote expensive kits, my road racing kit. Why in the world did I decide to put on my road racing kit on this ride? I have no idea. I had one of my kits from last year I could have put on. I don't know why. What actually went through my head was the chamois is better on this kit. I better wear this kit. It'll feel better because I'll be on the bike a long time. That's what actually went through my head. But then I didn't want to crash. Now, I generally don't want to crash anyway. But I especially didn't want to tear up a kit on this particular ride. So actually, I did not crash. So I'm pleased to announce I didn't crash. Now, this is considered to be, as far as I know, because I'm not a mountain biker and I'm not into the scene, one of the true meccas of mountain biking. So if you're into mountain biking, Prescott, Arizona can be on the list, should be on the list. And I would love to check this box, off that I've completed the full Prescott Circle Trail in one ride, but I think I need to do it in cooler weather, and I need to start earlier, and I need to be better on the mountain bike. But I'm going to show some footage through here. I didn't take a lot of footage because, again, I didn't have my GoPro mount with me, like a chest mount or a bike mount. Whenever I was actually doing stuff on the trails like this, I had the mount in my mouth. So I guess I'll be talking a little bit to the camera and then maybe I'll cut over here with some voiceover. Now, I guess we're 3 months later that I'm talking over this as I'm putting this video together, but just a little bit of my experience as a road biker here in Prescott. And so this little segment's coming to end, getting to the highway, and I'm going to have to find the rest of the trail here in just a moment. Had the map, which I obtained from somebody else's Strava, and built my own map and put it on my Garmin. So, tongue got really dry on the GoPro. That's fun. That was my first time to do a trail like that. Alright. Do I look tired? Tough climb behind me. Couldn't ride the bike the whole way. Had to push. Too technical, too steep. Only fell down once. Twice now I've fallen down. Anyway, downhill from here for a while. Battling a little bit of a cold. Back there is Granite Mountain, I believe. Headed down this trail, so we'll see what this holds for us. So one of the weird things about this ride was I did not see another single cyclist the entire 43.5 miles that I was on the trail. That's a long ways to not see someone coming from the opposite direction, or passing you, or passing someone. I guess it's a weekday in the summer here in Prescott. So one thing I take away from that is, if you're on a very popular cycling trail and there is nobody else on the trail, maybe you're doing it wrong. In this case, maybe you're doing it at the wrong time. So maybe too hot, didn't start early enough, and actually maybe not that many people do this. The trail was super dry. There's not a single trace of moisture. Didn't go through a single stream. I guess this is the way. On the trail? Gosh. Down the trail. Let's see what happens. This was another easy, fun section of the trail. And again, when I say easy, I mean easy for a road biker who doesn't know how to mountain bike, who doesn't spend any time mountain biking, and it's not technical. There's no huge rocks to navigate and go over and that kind of thing. Off camber, through rocks, over rocks. Nothing like that on this part of the trail. So by this time, it had started to get pretty hot. And I still had liquid, so I was doing okay, but I think we're over 100 degrees at this point on the trail. It's funny when you watch these mountain bike videos on YouTube. You see these guys bombing down these trails. They're going so fast. Look at me here. I am like tearing up my brake pads. I don't know how my brake pads survived this ride. I mean, it was like the, claws of death hanging on to my brakes, going down some of these descents so slowly. And of course, when I was going down the more technical stuff, it was just so slow and tiring. It was tiring going downhill so slowly, navigating. So as it was, I don't think I got any footage of the technical stuff that I was on. And one man's technical stuff is completely easy stuff for other people. So I really can't comment on whether a good mountain biker would think this is a fairly technical trail in parts. Certainly for me, it was technical, as this was not. This was easy and fun, even though I'm not going very fast. My brother-in-law actually lives on the trail, so he can just jump on the trail whenever he wants. He does a little bit of mountain biking. And there's a pretty famous, the whiskey something mountain bike race that's in this area. I don't know if it uses any part of the Prescott Circle Trail, but it's out of Prescott, and they have the Fat Tire Crit through the downtown of the small town just before the mountain bike race. Chloe Woodruff lives in Prescott, Arizona. So if you follow her Strava, you can see rides from this area. And what's his face? I'm forgetting his name. The Continental Pro sprinter guy. I forgot his name. He apparently is from Prescott. So there is a good USA sprinter that is from this area, but he doesn't live here. I think he just comes and visits from time to time. But the guys that live in Prescott talk about him, and he's considered a son of the city, at least in the biking world. So, um, uh, when I've posted a few mountain bike videos before in the Dallas area, people comment on how narrow my bars are. So maybe I should talk for a moment about what kind of bike I'm on. I bought a used Trek Superfly, is that what it's called? It's a cross-country bike. I think it's like 2011 vintage. It is a full squish bike, so I've got some travel on the front and also some rear suspension. And I have no idea what tires I'm on. It is a Shimano XT system. I'm using SPD pedals, and I always use speed play on road bikes. So I have sensitive knees in terms of float because I've had knee problems for a long time related to basketball. So even as non-technical as that was, because there was a lot of stuff that was more technical than this, you see me stopping and having a little bit of a hard time. That was not even near the kind of technical stuff that would come later and in other parts of the ride. And when you're going through really loose stuff and it's really steep, it's really hard for me to stay on the bike and keep pedaling even in the smallest gears. So, um, well, to get better, I guess you have to start somewhere. And I certainly didn't want to go all the way to Arizona here and not take my mountain bike. Um, when I told my wife that I was taking two bikes, a road bike and a mountain bike, she's like, "Oh, you can't take two bikes." I was like, "Why not?" My my One Up USA deal has I bought a second thing, so it's got room for two bikes. I don't know what the big deal is about having two bikes. Where are you gonna put them? I'm like, we're gonna have two bikes in the motel hotel when we stop. Like, yes, we can have two bikes. So it didn't turn out to be a bad deal in terms of actually getting the bikes there. And so I had the road bike and the mountain bike. Now, in the future, I hope to get a cross bike or a gravel bike. And in that kind of situation, I think I would take the mountain bike and the cross bike, and I would leave the road bike because there's a lot of cross opportunities in this area in terms of, I guess, forest service roads, gravel roads, that kind of thing. So much more diverse in your opportunities to ride with the gravel bike. As it was, I did ride my road bike on some of these like cinder type trails and stuff, but for the gravel ride that I did, I posted that video a long time ago. I rode this mountain bike. So there is no overlay with this data because I don't have a power meter on this bike. Not that it really matters anyway in terms of who cares what the power is. I'm going slow as Christmas, so that's pretty much obvious. So let's see what comes up in the next clip as we're getting to an end here. Mouth so dry. Well, didn't go very fast, but also didn't want to die. I'm not very good at this. It was fun. Later. Cruising down this fire road. Nice and easy after a lot of technical crap, at least technical for me. So, let's just see how it goes. My takeaways for this ride. First off, make sure you have a map. When I say map, I mean on your Garmin, have a map, because while it is marked, you really want to have the map. I don't think it's quite marked well enough that you wouldn't care to have the map. So it is marked, but it can be a little bit confusing at times. And take plenty of liquid, go when it's not too hot. And if you're like me, just be prepared that it's going to take a little bit longer than you think. There was one large climb that I missed in terms of finishing off the entire route, but I had done a lot of the climbing already, so good experience for this Flatlander Texan journeying into the bowels of Arizona in the mountains. Good times. Thanks for watching. We have one more clip of some wildlife. Bye-bye. Looks like I'm off course again. Every time I put the camera in, I'm off course. Right there. Deer. Straight ahead. Must be mule deer. Blacktail. Fella, I gotta go. It's curious. That's kind of cool. I've only seen a couple. That's like maybe the third deer I've seen in a week and a half, so not too many that I've seen. Quail chicks. There's the mama quail. There's the mama quail on the middle. There's a baby. Mama calling for her babies. Pretty cool.